Thank you so much, Bernadette. That was a beautiful introduction. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Tistrya. I do want to give a couple thank yous. I really want to thank the Churchtown Fire Company for having us here. And I want to give a huge thank you to the host committee who organized and subsidized this wonderful event, including the Columbia County Democratic Committee Communications Committee, the Austerlitz Dems, the Claverack Dems, the Hillsdale Dems, the Kinderhook Dems, and over a dozen other dedicated volunteers that put hours and hours and hours of their time into making this event happen. Thank you all so much. So my name is Tistrya and I'm currently the town clerk in the town of New Lebanon. And as town clerk, I have been really focused on community building programs. In my town, I've started a holiday gift drive for families in need at the holidays. I've started a free store where people can give whatever they want, clothing, footwear, children's items. Volunteers come and coordinate it all, and people come and take whatever they want for free. And it also keeps things out of the landfill as well as helping families in need. I've also brought New Lebanon in as a clean energy community. Because of me, we've taken 4 steps, 4 high-impact actions, such as applying for the electronic vehicle charging station grant that we recently received and benchmarking the town's energy usage that has given us the name Clean Energy Community, and it's allowed us $100,000 in grant money that we'll be applying for next to implement solar panels on our roof. It's a wonderful program. Anybody who's involved in town government or just wants to tell your town about it, come talk to me about it, because there's a woman, Robin Reynolds, who's really great and helps talk you all through it. But as your assemblywoman, one of the reasons that I'm running for state assembly is I feel like the needs and the voices of our rural communities and the needs and the voices of our working class families are not being heard right now on a state level within our district. And we have had a Republican hold this seat for over 20 years, and we haven't been getting the funding and the programs that we need and that we deserve. In New Lebanon, we have a road, Route 22, that is impassable. It is unsafe to drive. I recently had a friend get in an accident on his motorcycle because of a pothole. And when we as the town went to get funding from our state officials and from Governor Cuomo and from state DOT, we were told, you're not Westchester County, you're not going to get that funding. And that to me is unacceptable. We pay a lot of money in that taxes, and that tax dollars are supposed to be coming back into our district for things like our infrastructure, for things like the opioid crisis that is at an epidemic level. It is out of control. And I was the court clerk for 6 years before becoming the town clerk, and I saw firsthand that what we're doing right now is not working. We're putting people in jail, we're not giving them support and treatment while they're there, and they're coming out and they're dying. I had 2 friends who lost their brothers in the last year because when they got out, they used immediately because they hadn't received the treatment that they needed while they were in there, and that first time using, they were dead. And we need to do better, and we can do better. We need to come at it with treatment. We need to make sure there's a bed available for people who want a bed. We had people struggling with addiction coming in saying, I need help, and we had no bed for them, and that again is unacceptable to me. We also, have a lot of environmental issues in my district. We had the PFOA crisis in Hoosick Falls, and we still to this day don't have drinkable water for our residents in Hoosick Falls. And I think that we can do a lot better. I think that we need to be investing in renewable and green energy for the future of our children and for the future of our planet. And before I go, I know I only have 3 minutes, I hope I'm not over my time. I do want to tell a quick story that's kind of epitomizes one of the reasons that I'm running right now. My daughter, who just turned 6 yesterday, came to me one morning and I was crying while I was watching a video right now of what's happening to children being ripped from their mothers at the borders. And I was in tears, and she said, "What's the matter, Mom?" And I explained it to her. She ran and got the phone and she said, "Mom, you need to call 911, this is an emergency." And you always taught me that in an emergency, I can call 911 and they will come to help you. And I realized at that moment that right now, for some of these emergencies, we can't call 911. But as your assemblywoman, you will be able to pick up the phone and you will be able to call me. And I will fight. And I will fight for what is right, and I will fight for what is fair. Thank you. Primary, so I want to make sure all registered Democrats in my district come out on September 13th. It is a Thursday, and the polls are only open from noon to 9. Please come out and help me get on that ballot in November. It is with utmost pleasure that I introduce our next candidate. I have had the privilege of working with him, and he has